Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, 23 Flavors of Stitching. My name is Kirsten and today is going to be a Flosstube update. I have no idea what number because it's been a while. Let's see. Flosstube number 52. So, I have one start and a finish, two finishes, and a couple of WIPS. My brain is going a million different places. So I had an idea, because when I picked stitching back up at the end of April, I ended up finishing a couple things and working on them monogamously until they were finished, and so that carried through into May because a couple of things I finished after May had started, and then there were a couple of projects, or there was one project that I was like, oh, if I work on this monogamously, then maybe I could see it finished this year. And then we went out of town and I didn't want to take a super big project. So then the monogamous window the monogamous plan kind of went out the window. But not entirely, because when I switched projects, and I've only been working on that one since I switched. So my May kind of ended up being monogamous May. Kind of not. So my new start and a finish, I started it on April 21st and I finished it on the 23rd of April, was Hummingbird Sampler by Heart and Hand. If you remember, I did one for myself in memory of my grandma who passed away in December. It was my mom's mom, and I did it in a color that reminds me of her. So then I had an idea to stitch it for my mom, and so I asked my mom what color reminded her of my grandma, and it ended up being this, and I wouldn't consider this royal blue. I would say this is more of like a periwinkle blue, but this is Royal Blue by Forbidden Fiber Co. It's a lot, I feel like it's a lot lighter in person. Anyway, so I did that and I stitched it on 14 count oatmeal for my mom. I put my grandma's initials at the bottom and the year that she passed away. So I'm really happy with it. I think mine I did on 16 or 18 count, so mine is just a little smaller, but I liked this blue on the oatmeal, so there was my first finish. And then I finished the pattern that I started after my miscarriage in August. It was Forget Me Not by Hello from Liz Mathews. I'm not going to show, it's up here, but since it's finished you don't need to see it. And I stitched this with mostly the called for DMC conversion. There were just a couple of numbers that I didn't have, so I subbed them out. And I stitched it on 18 count Fog by Picture This Plus. And here it is. Those leaves are no joke. But I'm very happy with it. I wanted it to be done by March. Obviously I stopped stitching before March hit and I didn't stitch at all in March, so I wanted it to be done by March because that's when I would have been due. And but I finished it in May, so I'm very happy with that and how that turned out. Just need to figure out what to do with it, where to put it. And then next I have a modified finish. I was stitching How Much I Love You by Stitchrovia. It was part of the 3 You Are My Sunshine patterns that Emma Congdon released, and I was going to stitch them for a nursery. I ended up not loving this pattern for some reason, and I just could not find the motivation to do it, and I started on the word love because it's in the middle of the pattern. So I decided to just finish the word love and then I'll turn it into a small and, you know. But I used the called for colors, the 2 or the 3, and I stitched it on 16 count Bashful by Picture This Plus. And then over here I added some of these little things because there were none over there and I thought it would look weird since I wasn't doing the rest of the pattern. So this whole piece of fabric, it's fine. It's fine. We'll figure out something. It's fine. We can do a couple of smalls. It's fine. But I did really like the DMC that was called for that pattern. It was this 894, this bright pink, 891, which is like a hot pink more, and then this really deep red 777. So I thought the DMC was gorgeous. Okay, so that's it for finishes. No new starts, like I said, but I do have a couple of works in progress that are still in Q-snaps, so we're just gonna leave them on Q-snaps. So first up we have my Canada Sampler by Stitchrovia, and I'm stitching this for my dad. I started it, I think this is my oldest WIP now. I started it August of 2020, I think. Let's see. yeah, I started it in August of 2020. I'm stitching it on 16 count white Aida, and I'm using the called for DMC except for 1 or 2, I think, in like these oranges right here. But I finished this A, and then I came down here and I did this, which is going to turn into a hockey stick, and then I started on the totem. And the totem is, so all of these motifs end up making a maple leaf. And so the totem is the stem to the maple leaf, and I have to move it down a little bit, but I'm filling in some motifs that are in here, and then we'll be completely done with that side, and I'll just finish this other side eventually. But yeah, I finished the A. That's a lot of red. You kind of get sick of red after a minute, but if anyone is new, my dad is Canadian. He grew up in Canada until he was about 14. So we are very proud of where we come from. Both Canada and the States. So I think, so this totem, I'm looking at the pattern. This totem, there's 6 pages for this pattern. The totem is on page 5, and then it like, that's kind of like the center and bottom. And one of the motifs that I have to finish bleeds on to page 6, but basically I only have page 4, the rest of page 5, and then there's not very much on page 1. It's just like down here that I have to do. So it shouldn't be, I don't want to say it shouldn't take too long, but we'll see when we finish. It will be nice to get all of these colors back into my collection though. Okay, and then my next work in progress is, and I actually have a cover photo for this one. I've been posting it on my Instagram, and I'm stitching it for my husband. I started it last year. Started it 2022 for his birthday, I think. Let's check. Yeah. Started it in 2022, not for his birthday, but I started it around the Masters time. And it's Augusta National Golf Course by Awesome Pattern Studio on Etsy. They also have a website. But that's what it looks like. This is hole 12, I think my husband said. So when I first brought this out, I was not very far at all, and then I actually uploaded this pattern into Pattern Keeper because it is a full coverage piece. Not a huge full coverage piece, but it is full coverage. There are this light blue that's in the sky and then also in the water. There's like 5,000 stitches of that blue. Anyway, so I uploaded it to Pattern Keeper, and I think I did have to put in the colors for the symbols. But that was fine. There's not very many colors. I think there's like 12 colors or something. And ever since I put it into Pattern Keeper and I started stitching it with Pattern Keeper, I have not wanted to put it down. So I am at, I posted it on Instagram. Let's see. I'm at 6.78% done, and I have stitched 2,035 stitches out of 30,000 stitches. And I have almost reached the far right side of the pattern. So here's this. This is what I've been working on. The Canada sampler is the piece that I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so good to focus on for the month of May. And then we went out of town for a week and I didn't want to haul the Canada sampler around. So I did this one because it can fit, it fits a smaller Q-snap. And yeah, I haven't wanted to put it down, so. Probably what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna keep working on this darker blue, but I also have that really light blue has to go in here and come up. So that's what I'll probably do. Or I will actually probably move the Q-snap down because I want to start working on the actual green part of the golf course, not just the trees and bushes around it. So I think it would be fun to work on the green and all that next. But I did get really bored of the color green, so we'll see what happens. But that's where we're at. And I'm using all the called for DMC. These are them. Really pretty. There's this bright pink somewhere in there. I think probably the flag, if I had to guess. Let's see. Oh. No, it's flowers. Yeah. Anyway, so there they are. I think that is it as far as stitching goes. I don't have a ton of haul. Well, I have some, excuse me, I have some haul. I just got some 18 count fiddler's cloth. I got some thread because for my husband's birthday this year, I was going to start Epic Pokemon Gen 3 for him, but I pulled out Augusta National instead. But I went to get all the DMC that I needed for Epic Pokemon. I'm going to do, he started playing with Gen 3, so I'm gonna do that. And then I started playing with the Switch version, like the updated version of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So my starters and everything is technically Gen 4. So I'm going to do both of our things. And I got some needles. And that's about it. So, I'm not sure when this video will go up. Probably today, probably tomorrow. Today is May 20th. So Saturday, May 20th. So, well, 21st, sorry. No, 20th. It's been pregnancy brain. It's very, very real. So maybe I'll put it up today. I'm doing a virtual craft night with my mom, and I think my sister-in-law is joining, who lives with my parents, and then one of my aunts. I think it's just the 4 of us, but we're making cards. I might stitch, I might make cards. I am having my baby showers in June, and so I thought it would be kind of cute to make my thank you cards, especially just because I have a ton of scrapbook paper that I don't know what to do with, but I don't want to get rid of it, and so I thought it would be fun to make my own thank you cards. And if I make them now, then they will be all ready to go for June. So, yeah. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed my progress. I feel like I've gotten quite a bit done since I started stitching again in April. And, I mean, it's only been a month of me picking stitching back up. So, we're gonna get as much stitching done as we can before this baby comes, because I have a feeling we're not gonna get much done after she's here. So, yeah. Anyway, I will see you next time.